business owners, my fellow citizens, and my wonderful customers, and those prospective customers. My name is Daryl Guberman. I'm the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. And we've been open for 11 years, assisting companies in manufacturing and quality, and also special processes, and also the implementation of ISO certification and its derivatives. Today we're going to be doing another video. I think this is video number 5 of letters to ANSI nomination committee and Russ Chaney, chairman, proves they're a sham. In June, I saw that they were accepting ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, an organization that's been around for 100 years. It's an organization that is a non-governmental, it's a non-governmental organization, corporation, that has government agencies and also corporations on board. You have companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson sitting right over by the FDA. The FDA sitting on ANAB's board at one time, and they allocating to ANAB that they are okay for third-party audits, approving it. Why not? They sit on their board. Isn't that a tender moment in a uncertified world? But continuing on, also you have Pfizer, who skipped quality processes and standards to push the vaccine out the door, COVID. You have Johnson & Johnson, who also messed up on quality procedures. They had to recall over 60,000, or actually 60 million vials of the COVID injection. You'll find it down below. We most recently have in India a made-in pharmaceutical, made in crap. They put like some glycol in it, propylene or ethylene glycol, that killed 66, and that's under, I think it was 4 cough syrups. And these will all be down below. The quality FUPAs. Laboratory is a big joke. You have laboratory certification where you have Pamela Sale, the VP of laboratory accreditation, and she said under legal deposition, that from one laboratory to another, they lack protocols. How can you give a quality ISO 17025 certification if they're lacking the protocols necessary to perform equivalent jobs? Whether you're here I am in Connecticut, somebody in California, and you can find out that through all these different failures in laboratories, and there's a plenty, and you'll find that below my video as well. And also in the comments, I'll put some. It is absolutely abominable when you have Boeing sitting on ANSI's board right over by the FAA that succeeded inspection, gave inspection away to Boeing in 2009. To make matters even worse, Boeing has a procedure that will be in this, down below the video, that they, in 2002, that they basically said that they will take an AS9100 certificate as a viable form of a company's quality. Right on! That's why we have issues with 737. Possible issues. Could be, possibly, or 777 or the Boeing 787. There is a lot of issues in quality. So Boeing sits by the FAA. The FAA gives them, you can design, develop, fly, even probably do flight worthiness tests and sign off, and the FAA will initial. Now you see some of the articles that the FAA we're putting pressure on them. Why? Because they didn't do it before. Always when the horse escapes. You have Ethiopian Air, they crash, Malaysian Air, they crash, all of a sudden they say they have a problem. Always after a fatality. Just like in India, same thing. The pharmaceutical industry is in disarray. Just like over here as well. I told you, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, only to name a few. And they go to these countries because the manufacturing process is cheaper. At one time, my dear departed mom and dad would say, something, Daryl, sometimes in order for you to get a good quality product, you have to pay a little bit more. Well, that isn't true anymore either. Because you buy some good things and they fall apart. And you've seen it, I'm sure, as, consumers. So I put a 54-page document into ANSI for nomination. And it had over 16 letters of recommendation. I'm going to read you them. I think we're on this is going to be number 5, I think. And I just want to let you know what my customers put in, because I've told them the whole story about ANSI and ANAB and the Communist Chinese national who took over the IAF between 2015 and 2021, Zhao Jinwu, who is also the China National Accreditation Services chief executive there in Beijing. And he was standing there in 2017 in Wuhan, China, no less than the Biolab #4 Virology Lab, so with a smile on his face. And it was a suspect lab that possibly released the COVID-19. You have that ANSI ANAB profess on a website that is no longer, they're professing it, that they are underwriters, which they take all responsibility legally for companies that represent the ANAB accreditation, ANSI ANAB accreditation, that they are underwriters for ILAC, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, and also the International Accreditation Forum Incorporated in Delaware. While Zhao Jinwu sat upon the IAF, 2017, 2018 was Randy Doherty, who used to be the vice president of ANAB, the chairman of the IAF. At that time, he was sitting, and even between 2017 and 18, he was sitting as the principal on the IF 990 tax form. He was also sitting being advertised in the Department of Homeland Security. There is a litany to go through this. You'll find this on the other videos when you watch them, down below this. And the sad part is you had Randy sitting on the Department of Homeland Security, and you had his communist national friends sitting on the IAF, and that guy, Zhao Jinwu, has been involved with our quality business owners, ladies and gentlemen, since 1994. Cybersecurity. Terrible. You have NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, run by the Department of Commerce, got their National Vulnerability Database, cybersecurity, hacked by China in 2013. And then comes this year, they're putting out this, I think it's SP 800 from NIST, a cybersecurity based on ISO 27001 for cybersecurity. Actually of 27,000 is actually put into 27,013. But regardless, you have NIST SP 800 that is supposed to be for cybersecurity, and they sit on ANSI's board. They sat on ANSI's board between 2015 and 21, cybersecurity issues. When Randy was sitting on the DHS, cybersecurity issues. Do I know for sure? Who knows? In this world, nothing is impossible. So what happened with my nomination is this. I looked because they gave me a nine-question document to fill out as to what we're going to bring to the table for the American National Standards Institute. What possibly can we bring for the furtherance of their reputation, for the furtherance of their initiatives? Well, I looked, and whose name was it? Russ Chaney was on the bottom. And this is what it said, which is, I'm going to read it to you out loud. It says, the committee appreciates your interest in serving in an ANSI leadership position and your willingness to provide us with this additional information. Sincerely, GP Russ Chaney. Well, there he is. And in 2019, business owners, because I exposed the factor of an accreditation body for laboratory A2LA sitting on ANSI's board, which is right here, you had Ashley Morton, who worked for A2LA, was an employee, and she said underneath the video that I put out about this mess, and they were also at the time on the China-led IAF, International Accreditation Forum, 2015 to 2021. She said, A2LA and ANSI are two separate accreditation bodies onto their own right, and no one sits on anybody's board. Well, I did another video, and business owners and my fellow citizens, does it look like to you that A2LA, and yes, they do. And if you want me to corroborate this, I do have the actual document that shows the list of different organizations that sat on ANSI at that time. I think they still do as well. So what happened is, Russ Chaney, I guess, got keyed up by her. Or maybe I think he possibly works for it. And he called me, and here's my snapshot of my phone that evening that he called. And this is what Russ said to me. on my machine.
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
And business owners and my fellow citizens and my customers, here he is as the chairman of ANSI nomination committee. Do you think that he is going to elect me or grant me privilege to go on there? Because I was a ANSI nominee indeed. So I'm going to read you a letter from one of my customers, Mark. He was excellent manufacturing person, and let me read it to you. Dear Ms. Konstantopoulos, my name is Mark. I am formerly the president of this machine group, and 25 and 35-year companies that I owned and ran personally for 10 years. During 8 of the 10 years, I used the talents and skills of GPMC LLC registrars, 6 years, and Mr. Daryl Guberman and his team. We placed several certification standards in each facility, which helped my companies in achieving many contracts from a variety of high-tech industries. Mr. Guberman had always made himself accessible to me 7 days a week, many times after business hours. He responded to all my inquiries within the hour. His support was vastly superior to any of my prior experiences in my over 40 years of manufacturing. His varied knowledge and experience helped vastly improve the quality of my business. I had been approached by many registrars after I bought my companies, but rejected them because of what I personally experienced working for other companies. I was searching for an alternative. Mr. Guberman's educational videos exposing what he called quality out of control resonated in me due to my own experiences. I called and I was more than surprised. He is the CEO of his company and personally answers his phone without a secretary. I spoke with Daryl and found the films and articles did not do justice to this consummate quality professional. He is a personable, intelligent, experienced, and unassuming, yet has a wealth of knowledge to disseminate. His commitment to quality education is unparalleled. Mr. Guberman never bashed his competition, but educated me in the problematic issues that plague the quality certification space. Mr. Guberman recently asked me to write a letter of nomination to ANSI's board for 2022. I am proud to do so. He embraces quality. ANSI would be making a grave mistake by not nominating him to its board for 2022. His presence will bring instant credibility to quality in many industries. I would like to nominate Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, to the board of directors of ANSI. I've watched him for the last 9 years bring to task the ethics of both federal agencies and corporations. I can attest to his character and, most importantly, his interest in helping American manufacturing companies to support and improve their quality processes, including their management systems. I was proud to have a man such as Mr. Guberman supporting me in the function of quality certification. Mr. Guberman's board nomination will be a game-changing moment for ANSI. Well, ladies and gentlemen and business owners, the only apparent mantra that they have of improvement at ANSI is this from Russ Chaney.
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
I think that's what they say at these meetings, as a little tiny, how you get in the door, and instead of knocking on it, you say, half nut, fuck you, and they open up the door. That's what they want. This is what they desire. The nominating chairman saying that on a voicemail, no less. And the lawyer, Jameson Carroll, stated this. Here's Jameson. And this is what he said. I'll hold it here for a couple minutes. And this is what he said about this.
This is Russ Chaney. Please leave a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
Yes, Jameson, he did say, let's bring out Russ. He did say, half a nut, fuck you. Maybe that's why these two maybe get together and say that to each other while they're drinking a martini and smoking a cigar. Maybe that's a code word. My telephone number is 203 556 1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS at yahoo.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I thank you.